Star Trek used to be something people cared about, something that provoked discussions and made you think. But not only has this episode failed to do that, it fails to provide any entertainment value. Nobody changes or learns anything. Darem's entire life path is altered by someone else. His decision is made for him, and we learn nothing more about any of the characters. So what went wrong? Why does this episode feel so forgettable? Let's break down episode 7 of Starfleet Academy. This week all the cadets are on leave. This setup has provided interesting episodes before, so the concept isn't the issue. The problem is the characters and their inconsistency with what we've seen before. There are two main plots. The first is Caleb and Genesis hanging around in the academy, wasting time and eventually break into the bridge to steal Genesis's recommendation letters. And the second is Darem is kidnapped and taken to his arranged marriage, and to take up the throne of his homeworld. Jaden is also involved in Darem's story as he tried to rescue him from the abduction.
Humans can't refrain from drawing conclusions. You should learn to objectify other cultures, so you know when to interfere and when not to.
Let's begin with Caleb, who's been restricted to Academy grounds from the beginning until they forgot about that in episode 5. He's now free to go on leave. He hasn't been to Earth before he joined the Academy, so you'd think he would want to explore, see the wonders of the world, or sunbathe in the Caribbean. But instead, he wants to stay in the Academy and sunbathe in the atrium. But his plans are interrupted by Genesis, who also wants to stay rather than go to a conference with her father. She beamed back after she realised she was being considered for the command track for captain and wants to edit or unedit her references before they get sent with her record. They never really expand on what the command track is. I assume it's you stay at lower ranks for less time, or skip ranks, but it can't be good if the captain doesn't have the experience necessary. But she is essentially trying to trick Caleb into hacking into the bridge, which is supposed to be really difficult, but again he does this easily. They get caught, and she is no longer being considered. The only difference is now she has some menial labour to do. She and Caleb also seem to have a romantic connection in this episode, as he struggles to communicate with his girlfriend on Beta Z. There are a lot of love triangles in this show, and everyone has multiple romantic interests. It's difficult to know who we're supposed to be rooting for. Then there's Darem. Darem is about to go on leave when he's abducted.
Mia? That's you messing with me.
All right. You hear something, don't call out to it. Shoot it.
Jaden sees this, and after looking around for help, decides to go after him. After he tries to free him, Darem says it's okay, this is my arranged marriage, just a little earlier than expected. Apparently Darem has been sworn to this woman for a while, and loves her, which is a contrast from what we have seen all season.
That's your sister. Say out to your sister. That's your sister.
A few moments later.
I love you.
As said in the previous section, it seems that everyone in the Academy has at least 2 love interests, with Darem not being an exception. So him being so dedicated to this woman doesn't really match what we've seen from the rest of the series. Even within this episode, he appears to be interested in Jaden in between scenes of him preparing for his wedding. Then there's his royal duties. If he goes ahead with the wedding, he will become king and will need to leave the Academy to serve his people. He wants to fulfill that duty, but is conflicted because he thought he'd have a few years in Starfleet before this happened. This is similar to the Enterprise episode Home, where T'Pol is unexpectedly drawn back into her arranged marriage. She thought the arrangement was no longer valid, but her actions at P'Jem led to the end of her mother's career. She chooses to enter the loveless marriage to save her mother's standing, putting aside her own wants to help her mother. This is a much better storyline because the events are a result of her actions and choices in the past, and she makes the decision to go ahead with the marriage. It also has effects in the future. In this episode, all the events are chosen for Darem. It's brought forward against his will. Even when he decides to go through with it, it is immediately reversed by his new wife. Not only the marriage, but she decides that he will abdicate. The one thing he wanted to do in this episode was fulfill his duty, But he can't simply say, no, I want to remain king. And that's where the biggest problem is. Not only does everyone return to their starting positions by the end of the episode, as nothing has changed for any of them, but we learn nothing about these characters. Well, other than Darem being completely passive, and that Genesis worries about how she appears to the point of self-sabotage. Even episodes that completely reset tell us about the characters, such as Voyager's Year of Hell. Despite the reset, it still tells us about the characters and how they would act in different situations. For example, Chakotay is tempted by the idea of controlling time, despite the risks. Whereas Tom would put morals above even saving Voyager with the technology. It showed us their values and flaws and had something interesting to say. But with this, there's just a sense of apathy. We're shown that Darem values duty, but when someone pushes back, he just agrees. So was that even a value? Or was he just saying that to fill the time? Even in the game Star Trek Resurgence, which is the footage shown in these videos, what the characters say actually matters. It affects relationships with all the other characters and how different storylines play out. You have to make decisions, and that can change people's opinion of you. And you can't please everyone. Some conversations and actions will weigh more than others, but most interactions have some impact. Here the consequence seems to be Caleb and Genesis have to do menial labour, and Genesis is no longer considered for the command track, which she wasn't before this episode anyway. Overall, there's very little that happens or that gives us anything to think about. It's very forgettable. This is why nobody cares. We don't know the characters well enough to know what any of this means to them, and nothing has changed for them from last week to the end of this episode. They're just back in their starting positions as if none of this happened. Maybe we'll see lasting consequences from this in future episodes. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe on your way out.